to you everyone. We are the Group 1 and now we will present the sensory motor stage by Jean PJ. But first, what is the sensory motor stage and what is the different stage of it? Do you wanna know? Then watch this.
The sensory motor stage is the first stage of 4 stages proposed by Jean Piaget to describe the cognitive development of infants, children, and adolescents. Piaget was a developmental biologist who became interested in closely observing and recording the intellectual abilities of children. Piaget proposed that cognitive development progressed in stages and categorized the stages by children's ages. From birth to approximately 2 years is the sensory motor stage. The pre-operational stage, ages 2 to 7, moves from toddlerhood through early childhood. The concrete operational stage is from ages 7 to 12. The formal operational stage occurs from 12 years into adulthood. Piaget recognized that children could pass through the stages of various ages other than what he proposed as normal, but he insisted that cognitive development always follows this sequence and the stages could not be skipped. Each stage marked new intellectual abilities and a more complex understanding of the world.
The term sensory motor was used by Piaget because he believed that infants were dependent on their senses and their physical abilities to understand their world, because they can see, hear, taste, and smell from birth. They combine these senses with their emerging physical abilities to interact with objects by grasping, shaking, banging, and tasting them. Their growing perceptions are based on past experiences, cognitive awareness, and their current use of their senses. During their early experiences, infants are only aware of what is immediately in front of them because they don't understand how things react. They are constantly learning about the world through trial and error by shaking or throwing things and putting things in their mouths.
Young infants are extremely egocentric. They have no understanding of the world apart from their own current point of view. A significant development during the sensory-motor stage is their understanding that objects exist and that events occur in the world independently of their own actions. Initially, objects only exist to infants when they can actually sense them and interact with them. They cease to exist to infants when they can no longer see them or sense them. When infants have achieved the ability to form a mental representation of the object, they will realize the object still exists and can actively seek it. This ability is known as achieving object's prominence.
Piaget determined that cognitive development involved 6 substages in the sensory-motor stage. Stage 1. Reflexes. Newborn between birth and 1 month, infants exercise, refine, and organize the reflexes of sucking, looking, listening, and grasping. Stage 2. Primary circular reactions. Infants between 1 and 4 months. Infants begin to adapt their reflexes as they interact with their environment. Actions that interest them are repeated over and over in circular reactions of actions and response to using their own bodies.
Stage 3. Secondary circular reaction. Infants between 4 and 8 months. Infants repeat action that involve objects, toys, clothing, or other person. They might continue to shake or rattle to hear the sounds or repeat an action that elicits a response from a parent to extend the reaction. Stage 4. Coordination of secondary circular reaction. Infants between 8 and 12 months. At this stage, infants' behavior becomes goal-directed in trying to reach for an object or finding a hidden object, indicating they have achieved object permanence. Emerging motor skills allow them to incorporate more of their environment into their activities.
Stage 5. Tertiary circular reactions, toddlers between 12 and 18 months. Toddlers became creative at this stage and experiment with new behaviors. They try variations of their original behaviors rather than repeating the same behaviors.
Stage 6. Mental combinations, toddlers between 18 and 24 months. True problem solving emerges at this stage, where toddlers can mentally consider solutions to problems before taking any action. A more advanced concept of object permanence develops, which indicates that they are leaving the period of sensory-motor development and moving toward the pre-operational period of thinking.
As infants achieve the ability to walk and coordinate several behaviors between the ages of 8 and 12 months, memory develops as demonstrated by the emergence of object permanence. Symbolic and pretend play are a result of a development of memory, and they reflect planning on the toddler's part.
The development of cognitive play was described by PJ in 3 stages: practice play, symbolic play, and games with rules. Practice play appears during the sensory motor period and involves some behavior that is repetitive. Symbolic play appears in the later months of the sensory motor period and into the pre-operational period. Symbolic play, also described as pretend play, emerge when an absent object is represented by another object. As the children move beyond their own actions, they begin to include other people or objects in their play. Attachment to significant adults and siblings indirectly affects pretend play, and those in a secure environment are more likely to play with their peers and engage in more complex and sustained play. That is sensory motor stage and the different stage of it. We hope that you learned a lot about this video. Thank you!